My name is Rochelle. I am part of District 6. I'm from Chapter 2538, and that's Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. Back corner. I am part of the next wave. We are the now, not just the future. We are the now. And I'm here just to talk about how the next wave is really important and moving and helping to further the union along. So the question that we all have to ask today is, as union leaders retire, how do we pass the torch? How do we fill the inevitable leadership void that happens? So with every transition of power, so to speak, there are so many obstacles to overcome. And so who's heard of the sweeping statements, and there's some slides, that millennials are lazy. The younger generations only think about themselves. Young people don't care about history and what we fought for. Or how about these other ones? The older members don't want to give up their power. Baby boomers need to come into the 21st century. Union leaders don't know how to relate to young members. Sadly, generalizations and preconceptions like these keep us from making headway. We all have a role to play. It can no longer be us versus them, young versus old. We all have a very vital part in keeping this union strong and moving this union forward into the future so that we're here for our children that are coming after us. And then there are millennials and Gen Xers, next wavers, who are ready to step up and keep the torch burning. Many of them are here today. If you feel that you are a next waver, somebody who you may not be in the Generation X or the millennial age, but you're new to state service, you're new to union activism, will you please stand up? I'm the only one? Let's give those people that you see standing a round of applause. We thank you for your service. We thank you that you are here today. This shows that what we're doing right now is making an impact on those that will be our future leaders. And if we could please have the panel members come up, Lawson, Tapreen Horn, and Darla Moore. Thank you. And we'll have a panel. And while we haven't quite tapped into the next waivers, there are many new and younger activists doing great work. And when someone has a passion, no matter what their age, they give their all. That's when we will give up a Saturday morning to attend a meeting, put a rally before a recital, forgo family time to be an officer, or skip lunch to sign up people members. And it's our job to instill that passion. This includes the activists that you see here, again, Lawson, Tapreen Horn, and Darla Moore. And they're each going to have something to say about their activism. Please listen.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
I'm Lawson. I'm from London Correctional, Local 4900, and I'm the new president down there since last October. Thank you. Anyway, I've been trying to get involved with our union for a while, since I started about 8 years ago. And we had some leaders, some really good leaders at London that done a lot for our chapter and a lot across the state. But I wanted to get involved and try to help myself and try to help other young, interested people like me. So last fall, I was pushed by a lot of my coworkers to run for president. It caused some waves. It caused some disdain in the chapter, and I almost felt like the chapter was going to fall apart, but I didn't want that to happen. So I reached out to some of the older leaders, the former president, Gary Willis, who was in the back of the room with me today. I reached out to him. I needed his help. I needed to close that gap that was quickly coming to London. And we talked about our commonalities. We talked about what we wanted done in the union. And believe it or not, we was on the same track on a lot of things. So today he is my chief steward. He's also a mentor to me, if you say. He's helped me a lot. He's guided me in the direction I think our chapter needs to go. And we have a pretty strong chapter at 4,900. And we got a lot of young stewards trying to get involved, who he's leading, who he's showing the way. I think I have 4 or 5 stewards that are in their early 20s with less than 5 years in, and I'm trying to grow that and get more and more stewards involved. I think now more than ever, we need to close that generation gap with the fight we have ahead of us and get, you know, the young millennials, as you say, Gen X, whatever, with the older union members, the people that's been leaders for a while. I know when I was first asked to do this, I was like, I don't want to sit up here and talk to these people that's been doing this for years, and they're going to look at me like, what's this young pup doing? He don't know anything. But Scott Dye up here over my shoulder, he encouraged me to do it, and he's kind of helped me along the way as well. So I think if you're an older union member, and I don't mean older in age, I mean older in service, like she said, state service, union service, reach out to these young guys. You know, we're the next generation. We're the one that can keep this fight strong, and try to prevent what happened in Iowa, to prevent it from happening in Ohio. So reach out, close that gap.
Hi there. My name is Darla Moore. Today I represent District 4. I'm serving my second term as president of Heartland Behavioral Healthcare.
Hello, I'm Tabrine Horn, and this is my very first time accepting any position in any union. I'm very proud to be here. I'm also with Chapter 7650, with Heartland Behavioral Health here.
The reason we sit up here is because we are full of passion for the union. Being that we work as healthcare providers, we understand how important being a part of the union is to our safety and our job security.
And another part here is having a lot of passion and having good mentors, as I have one sitting to my right. Thank you. Darla brought me in, and the first thing she taught me was to read your Constitution. And I said, okay, I read it. She said, read your Constitution, read your contract. So I carry my Bible with me. It's good and dirty. It's covered in coffee and juice. Because I have one in the car, I have one in my locker, I have one at the house. This is my Bible. This is the foundation. This is what we are built upon. So these are our basic instructions before leaving Earth.
So that's what we're here today. We're here to ask you guys to dig deep and to mentor the next generation of people that are coming. You know, I've never met anybody that didn't have a story about the one person that got them involved in the union. I know I have my story. So we're asking you guys to be that one person. You know, if you see somebody that's interested, you know, take them under your wing, teach them what you know. That's the only way we're going to grow this thing.
And so now do we have time for comments? Yep. All right. So we'll do a couple of questions from the panelists. What are some of the things your chapter is doing to recruit new and younger members?
One of the things that I do is I make sure that I meet everybody that comes in that door. Every new employee, I get them within their first couple weeks of being employed at Heartland. And, you know, I get them before management gets to them. You know, I tell them what we can offer, tell them what we can do, give them as much encouragement as possible to join us.
Something we've done at London is the conventions, the retreats, whatever. I try to get new young members that go to these things. I'll send, you know, a seasoned veteran, if you say, and then I'll try to send somebody that's never been to one. And I was actually talking to my guys that are here today with me, and from now on, I'm going to show them that contract from Iowa and show them why we need this union and why we need to be fighting, and hopefully that encourages them to get involved a lot more.
And then what are some of the obstacles you face as new and younger members?
One of the main obstacles was the time that it took for me to become a steward, because I had to have 2 years of service in. And I was very eager. I mean, immediately going in, it was like, well, I'm reading the contract, I'm reading the book, I'm reading. That was like the biggest obstacle, because you're out of probation, you should be allowed to start being active.
And then what would an ideal mentor program look like in your chapter or even statewide?
I don't know about an ideal program, but I know something that's helped me out a lot is I reached out through Kevin Birchfield and Kathy Stewart and Pat Hummel, was that her name? Pat Hummel. And I had a stewards class held at my institution, and it included Madison and ORW as well. These people up here are here to help. You just have to reach out and ask. And they pass on a lot of great information. And since October, I've learned stuff that I didn't even know existed with the union. And I mean, my brain's on overload. So just reach out to these members, these panel, and Scott Dye has helped me out a lot. Again, I'm gonna keep throwing him under the bus since he put me up here today. But just reach out. These guys want to help. I don't know I don't know if they know how to help, but they want to help. So reach out to these guys. Reach out to the older members.
And I think another way of getting the newer members active and passionate is to tell your story, why you're a union member. I know when I first came to be a state worker, SB 5 was in our faces. And that was my first, I knew about unions, but no one in my family that I really knew was a union member in a union. So I really didn't know what union activism was until it smacked me in my face. And I knew that as a new union member, I had 4 children. I am the sole provider. When it was a threat of my job, my livelihood, I was fired up. And so I was there for SB 5. I went down to the courthouse. I stood on the State House lawns. I've done other rallies across the state. And it's just something that you have to stand for everybody, be united as a united front. And with that, you'll gather strength from your brothers and your sisters when you're standing, shoulder to shoulder, and you're in the same fight for the same reasons. And another thing that comes back to my mind is we've all seen the movie, I hope, or the documentary At the River We Stand. As a next waiver, AFSCME put on a couple of conventions, and I got the opportunity of going to one in Atlanta, and they actually brought 2 of their surviving 3 members from that rally of the sanitation workers. So for me to see those 2 men on the stage, not only did I have the SB 5 fight, but it brought it full circle. And how can I let those men down when they fought so hard? And it brings tears to my eyes because it was an amazing experience for me. And it just drilled into me how important the union is. And not only just the union, but getting everybody active, teaching what you know to those that are passionate enough to take on that fight. So we need the new, we need the old, and we need to be able to pass on the knowledge so that we continue this fight that was started so long ago. So, brothers and sisters, I implore you, if you know anybody that you would think would be just wanting to be active, pass on your story, point them in the direction of the next wave, and we'll take it from there.
Let's give our
Thank you.
millennials, our next waivers, and our next future generation of leaders an applause. Today we'll hear our final